Hey everybody, welcome to episode 1, the official first episode of LOD Extra. Let's get into it. Now, it's been a few days since the Developer Direct has happened, and instead of putting the poll up, which I mentioned in episode 0, I decided, you know what, let's just take two things from it and talk about those, and then have the poll thing set in place and rolling going forward. Now, the two games I'm going to talk about from the Developer Direct are the two that stood out the most to me, and that obviously, as a gamer, I'm most excited to get my hands on. Now, the first one's the obvious one, Indiana Jones. Now, up until the Developer Direct, I was so unsure how I wanted it to end up. Like, I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be third person or first person, and now that it's first person, but when you're climbing or you're doing some other things, the camera pulls back and you see yourself doing it. I think that's enough for me, and I'm really happy with that because Machine Games, like, they've made the Wolfenstein games. The core team of Machine Games is formerly of Starbreeze, and they made the Chronicles of Riddick Butcher Bay game. Maybe not completely the accurate name for it, but it's just been a very, very long time since I played it. So I'm glad they sort of stuck to something they know. Obviously, you all know yourselves. There's been plenty of games recently from studios, good studios, who've tried something different out of their wheelhouse, and it's just not worked. So I'm glad in this case they are sort of kind of sticking to what they know, the first person formula. The action looks great. Like, the gameplay of this, I know it's very heavily cut, like chopped up and edited and stuff, but the combat looks great. He's using his whip plenty. Have a little throwback to Temple of Doom. You see a part where he's reaching into some sort of hole in the wall and a spider comes out, crawls up his leg. There's a lot of fanfare, which I'm quite happy about. Is there going to be a lot of the players old enough to, remember some of these little nods and stuff? Probably not. But I hope with the hype surrounding the games that these people can go, you know what, it comes out in the fall. I think it comes out in the fall. Did it say it come out in the fall? I'm really sorry. That has just completely went poof out of my head. Before it comes out, like, I highly recommend people go back and watch the first 3. The fourth one and the last one, the most recent one there, I don't know. You have to be like, I don't know. They're different enough from the first 3 that some people don't like them. I mean, I haven't watched the newest one yet, because I think it shouldn't have been made. I think he's way too old. I think Disney just pure cash grab. But companies have to make money, so I feel it's a cash grab. Other people may think it's great. But back to the game, I genuinely am looking forward to it more now than I possibly have been because of the Developer Direct. And what they talked about afterwards, I'm not going to go into complete carbon copy detail. If you want that, just watch the Developer Direct and listen to the devs after the trailer and stuff. And it was phenomenal. What they're talking about, they all seem pretty passionate about it. I know some people will be like, I wanted to see Indiana Jones, blah, blah, blah. It's like, guys, my opinion on this is that there's too many games like that, third person adventure treasure hunting and stuff, like Uncharted. There's 5 of them. I'm counting the smaller one as well. Terminator's been around since the PS1, for God's sake. I mean, there are other games out here, well defined, established franchises that maybe if they tried to make an Indiana Jones game the same way, it couldn't chisel out a place for itself. Again, just my opinion. You may agree, you may disagree, you may fly off the handle, you may just gurn and moan and change the subject, or start crying because it's not on your PlayStation 5. Oh yeah, there's been people doing that. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, you guys have Spider-Man and all sorts of really, really good first-party games. Indiana Jones comes out, it's exclusive to Xbox. Suddenly everybody feels like they're getting shortchanged. I'm sorry. That's just really, really funny to me. I've seen plenty of clips recently. Some friends have sent me some too, of actual big podcasts, money making, like business sort of level podcasts, right? Like these are these guys' jobs, and they're bitching that it's not coming out on PlayStation. Like, what are you supposed to say to that? It's like, grow up. It's not coming out on a PlayStation, right? If you want it, either get a PC or buy an Xbox. Like, an entry level Xbox is £250. If you can afford a PlayStation 5 and you can afford the gear to do podcasts and stuff like that, you can afford a £250 box and at least a month of Game Pass to play it. And then when you're finished, you could put the box on your shelf and just cancel the subscription. Like, I think most people can manage that. I know, obviously, cost of living crisis and stuff like that, £250. But in general, I think that that's obviously a much more manageable thing than buying the game flat out and having a big Series X or what have you. You know what I mean? Live by your means, and right now that's quite difficult for a lot of people. Again, back to the game. I keep getting dragged out into a tangent. I miss having someone on the show with me to try and keep me in the straight and narrow. Try being the informative word. So, there was a term in some of the talking of the video that the woman character, which I don't know her name, I haven't found that information out yet, is a protagonist as well. Now, does that mean you're going to control her? I don't know. It could. Maybe a level, maybe everything. I sure hope as hell it's not like those Mary Jane missions in the first Spider-Man game. Oh my god. Those are fucking dire. Don't worry, I'll edit that out. The swear, I'll edit that out. But you understand what I'm trying to say. I really, really hope if there is missions in it and that you're not Indiana Jones, even if it's a small section, even if it's a big section. Just please do her right. Because I don't want to go back to that. I'll just stop playing. I never finished Spider-Man 2014. Is it 2014? Yeah, I just scratch the 2014 part. I never finished that Spider-Man because those missions just absolutely killed the pace and absolutely killed the feel of the game for me, and I just stopped playing. I really, really hope that Indiana Jones, if like, that's not to say is that is actually going to happen, if we switch from Indy to the woman and back, is it going to wreck the flow? If it doesn't, fantastic. If it does, shit. It's probably going to end up another one on my backlog that's unfinished. But honestly, the way it looks at the minute, I really feel like I'm going to have an absolute ball with Indiana Jones, and I hope a lot of people do too. The next game I want to talk about is Avowed. Now, I'm a dab hat when it comes to like the old Elder Scrolls games. I like ESO. I really like to get back into that again, but picking a platform to play it on is proving a bit difficult because I have friends that do still play, some, not many, but they're spread out over Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and as far as I know, I keep forgetting every time I look it up, ESO's not crossplay or cross save for that, and for that example either. So it's not like I could play with some friends on the PlayStation one day and then just turn on the Xbox, load into my character, and play with my Xbox friends. And hell, we all know I don't have a PC powerful enough to play ESO, so I can't play with anybody I know on the PC anyway. So I have recently I half-heartedly started ESO again, got my character to level 17, and I've just been I just got bored and stopped. I'm trying to play from the start, all back up through all the seasons and all the or not all the seasons, all the expansions and stuff, but I've played the first one so much that it just bores me now, that I just don't want to play it. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to pay, if I'm gonna play it on the Xbox, I'll need to pay the membership to unlock all the DLC, and then obviously just skip the original games ones. Or the wife had bought me the collection up until the expansion before the Skyrim one. Or no, it is the Skyrim one, right? It's the collection up until the Skyrim one, and the one that came after that I don't have. I'll maybe just start playing on that. But back to the subject at hand, Avowed. One of the things I remember hearing them say was that they wanted to differentiate Avowed from the Elder Scrolls. They didn't want people, obviously there's going to be comparisons, but they didn't really want to make the games look similar or the same, or, so Avowed's art style was changed from the initial reveal trailer to now, which I think is great. It looks great. Like, Avowed is now developing its own identity. Like, I know it's not based in the Elder Scrolls lore. It's based in, it was on the top of my head, the Pillars of Eternity, which, for me, that's very appealing because I know very little about the Pillars of Eternity world, the lore, all of that. I know very little about any of that because I don't. It's a bit, I might be wrong. Someone is maybe going to jump onto my achievements list or my trophy list and go, oh, look, you played such and such in 2010 or something. I do not remember playing any of the Pillars of Eternity games. I remember nothing about them. So Avowed for me is a completely new thing. I know nothing about the world, the lore, the creatures, the races, nothing, which excites me. It's getting me going. I mean, this could be a whole new obsession for me, because like most guys that really, really loved Skyrim, I just love the Elder Scrolls. I love the storytelling. I love the lore, the world. I think it's fantastic, and I'm hoping Avowed does that for me again with the Pillars of Eternity. Now, the combat looks like it's changed a little bit too. It looks better than it did the last time we seen the game, which is great. And believe it or not, there wasn't that much, really given. Most of the new stuff that really got me hyped for Avowed was just from the gameplay. Like, the world looks great. It looks different enough. It doesn't look all the same. It's not a Dragon Age 2 situation where you're more or less in that city for the majority of the bloody game. It looks like there's a lot of differences to the environments and where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing and so on. This affliction, or whatever they've referred to it as, which is affecting the world and the animals and stuff in it, makes some of the animals look, the bear looked flipping insane. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the creatures and the continued direction of this chosen, look and feel. I think Avowed is going to be great. I'm not too worried about the fact that it's fall 2024. I mean, some of my friends and some people I've seen online have been a bit, that's a bit far out. It's not really. The years are going to fly in, trust me. Always bloody does. I actually think it's just right, if you know what I mean. They've already said it's not going to be like Elder Scrolls level size. Like, it's not going to be a big mad open world game like Skyrim, as those games take years and years and years to make and get right. Here's looking at you, Starfield. Years and years and years to make and get right, but everybody I know stopped bloody playing it. It's just not. This is a whole different subject, but I'm just going to shoehorn this in here a little bit to get it off my chest. The majority of people that I know that adore practically every game that has come out from this Bethesda. Fallout 4, Fallout 3, New Vegas, which is from Obsidian that made Avowed, Oblivion, Skyrim, all the Skyrim different editions and stuff. They have bought it every time, and they have thrown hundreds of hours into each game. They wouldn't do that if the game wasn't entertaining, you know, the second time round, third time round, fourth time round, fifth time round. None of them's doing the new game plus for Starfield. I mean, they've really dropped the ball when it comes to Starfield's longevity. I mean, why keep doing the new game plus when it's I just don't get it. Even myself, I have played it until the end. I've triggered the new game plus, seen that it has fixed a lot of the graphical glitches and absolute atrocities that my save was afflicted by. I mean, for any of my actual friends that listens to this, you guys will know that New Atlantis, most of the floor was just gone. I was walking on the actual planet the whole time. I had to like boost jump up to the doors to go into buildings and stuff, and no matter how many times it was patched, it never ever fixed it. I did my new game plus after completing it and actually skipping some side quests, which that's more full me. It fixed it, but I shouldn't have had to do that to fix it. I mean, I had to skip some stuff and just mainline the main quest just to get the game to reset, because I read somewhere that the further into the game you get, or the more you've done or something, there's a chance your save will like crack up or break, or not necessarily corrupt, because obviously if it corrupted you wouldn't be able to use it, but the longer you play it without doing New Game Plus, I mean, I put like 90 something hours into that, mate, that just before I New Game Plus, that things start going mental. Things like stop working, stuff like that, and I can sort of attest to that because, you know, New Atlantis for at least 50 something hours of the game was fine. And then suddenly I go into my ship and come out of my ship and half the floor's gone. The kiosk was gone, but I don't know if that was patched out or moved or something, but the very kiosk beside the guy beside your ship at New Atlantis was gone. I couldn't like sell anything at New Atlantis unless I went into the actual shops and buildings. So Indiana Jones will be fantastic, and I hope it's a big win for Xbox this year, because they bloody need it. Avowed, I hope it's another big win. I hope this year the games that are coming out are absolute bangers, because they're from studios that can make bangers. The whole age-old argument of, oh, if it's on Xbox, everybody hates it. You know that happens anyway. It happens anyway. I don't think there's ever going to be a way to get around that unless Xbox brings out games that are so good that you just can't argue with it. Now, do they have to? Should they invest millions in doing that? I don't think so. I don't think so. Microsoft and Xbox are going into a totally different direction now. Are exclusives still important? Yes, I think they are very important. Without specific games, without exclusives, what aside from your friends, what is going to get you to pick a different system? For me, I hadn't been on PlayStation for the entirety of the PS4 generation up until Days Gone. A year after Days Gone came out, I finally went, you know what, sod it. Bang. Bought PS4, Spider-Man and all as well, God of War, and played them, and I thought, this is fantastic. Ghost of Tsushima came out, phenomenal. But it took the majority of the PS4 generation before they brought anything out that even remotely tickled my fancy. My wife was absolutely amazing and got me a PlayStation 5 on Christmas Eve of all times, and I am forever grateful for that, because she's not a gamer, really. You know, she plays The Sims 4 and stuff. She loves Heavy Rain, but that's like, it's a PS3 game. I mean, that just shows you how little games come out that appeal to her anymore. I mean, when she was younger, obviously she had a PS2 and she played plenty of PS2 games. She loved GTA back in the day, and Playboy Mansion, Leisure Suit Larry. Oh, some of the games I played with her years ago was crazy. I was shock and awe that she even played them. But as I said, as she's got older, the kind of games that cater to her have just sort of become either unpopular or they just don't sell well. So obviously then, you know, you don't see them as much. I do believe that on the likes of Steam and stuff, and the indie scene, there are gems which would absolutely have her attention 100%. I'm still trying to get her to try Coral Island. It's kind of like Harvest Moon, but there's a story to tell in the background and stuff as well. But obviously, trying to get her to sit down long enough to try it. You know, it's one of those things. I would love to just, you know, bring back all sorts of classic and very good games. But obviously, the way things are right now, mass layoffs across the gaming industry. I mean, PlayStation has been getting studios to lay people off, even if that studios had absolute bangers. I mean, Insomniac were asked to lay people off. It's like, Insomniac has been their most consistent studio for delivering absolute billers, and they were still being asked to lay people off. I don't understand what's going on in PlayStation right now. It's like an absolute dumpster fire. Well, the developer direct was great. In closing, the developer direct was great. This coming year, I think, will be a fantastic year for Xbox. I think that right now there is something going on at Sony internally that you should definitely keep your eye on it. Honestly, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot shaking around, and it's not good. I don't think it's good anyway. Before we go, a couple of games which I am hoping we still see at some point this year. State of Decay 3. Now, I love State of Decay 2. I liked State of Decay 1. I don't play them very long, because once I get past a certain point, I start going, right, what am I supposed to do now? You know, it's something I've never really learned the right way to play it. And I've always found myself, oh, they're sick, they're dying, I can't find the stuff I need. I go to the right location, still can't find the stuff I need, so what am I doing wrong? And then obviously I stop playing. But I'm definitely looking forward to State of Decay 3. We haven't seen any gameplay. I mean, the only trailer I know of that we've seen was, you know, the hunter, and you see the deer, the infected deer. I thought, whoa, that's going to get dark and twisted. The next Gears, I think it's high time we get at least a trailer for the next Gears, or at least a teaser or a logo reveal or something. That should keep Stubbsy happy. Hell, it'll keep me happy too. the Gears 5 was class. It was class. Absolute class. I loved it. Didn't stick around with the multiplayer too long. I was never a big multiplayer guy. I like the horde mode. I would play the horde mode more than the multiplayer. The escape mode that they brought out, I don't know if that's the actual name of it. Hive Busters was amazing DLC. Amazing DLC. The co-op mode where you fight your way into the hive, plant the bomb, and get your way out. The fact that you can make your own maps for that, I thought was brilliant. You know what? I'll have to actually get in touch with Stubbs. We'll have to get together, make a couple of wee maps, and have a couple of little gameplay sessions of that, because if anybody's going to play that with me, it'll be Stubbs. So, guys, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this lovely show. This has been episode 1. Wait, did I not introduce myself again? Oh crap, I've done it again. I have been your host, Mark, Tirus, the Silent Pirate, whatever you would like to call me. I'm going to have to pick one and settle with it. Yeah, this has been LOD Xtra, episode 1. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one.